Now, decimals to fractions. Decimals to fractions is very easy as long as you think of it in terms of place value and the number line. So if I'm thinking of my place value, then I'm thinking of my powers of 10 or my multiples of 10. So I'm looking at 0.15. Well, what is that place value of that 5? It's in the, not the tenths place, but the hundredths place. And because this 5 is in the hundredths place, then when I say 0.15, it's really 15 hundredths. And that's how I would write it in fraction form. Okay, now that's not simplified, but we're just focusing right now on writing it correctly. Okay, so let's try another one. So let's try 0.2. Now you might look at it and say 0.2, but we want to focus on what is the place value of the 2. Because it is in the tenths place, then my denominator is 10. Decimals are just like fractions in the fact that we are dividing. But what makes decimals so amazing is that we're dividing by multiples of 10. So everything behind the decimal is division. That's why they're smaller, we're dividing. So it's just a matter of, am I dividing by 10, 100, or 1,000, or, more than that. So let's pull up this one. Let's do this. Okay, so I'll look at that number. Oh, so tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So now I've got I have a 3, 4, and my denominator is 1,000. So if you're still struggling with that type of understanding, then let's look at it this way, okay? Because we can also say 1, 2, 3 places, and because I move 1, 2, 3 places, my denominator is going to have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So we can look at it that way as well, okay? That is getting it into fraction form. As far as simplifying it, that's something a little bit different. So let's do one, and then we'll actually simplify it, okay? So let's start off with, let's say 0.222. We'll do 0.22. I'm going to look at that. That last 2 is in the hundredths place, so my fraction is 22 over 100. But it's not simplified because both numbers are even. So I'm going to divide it, and we're looking for the greatest common factor of both. So let's start off with the 2 since they're both even. 2 can go into 22 11 times. 2 can go into 150. So my simplified fraction is 11/50. Okay, let's try another one. Let's start off with, let's see, let's do 0.15. Okay, go ahead and pause it. Okay, so your fraction should have been 15 over 100. Now, did you simplify it? Okay. So pause it if you don't want to watch me simplify it, just in case. Okay, I know that I can pull out a 5. My greatest common factor is 5. 5 can go into 15 3 times. 5 can go into 120. So my simplified fraction is 20. Always keep in mind that your decimals are division of tens, 100 or 1,000. It's always multiples of 10 that we're dividing by. Decimals are equivalent to fractions, and that's the thought process I want you to have. So here's one more. Let's see. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I could challenge. No, let's see if I. Let's do 425. Okay, let's try this one. I want to challenge you a bit. Okay, so I'm going to give you a second. I want you to put it in a fraction, and then I want you to simplify it. Okay. Okay, so your fraction should have been this. Check yourself. Should have been over 1,000. Okay, now it will take you a little time to simplify it, so you might want to pause it. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start simplifying ours. So 425 and 1,000. I know that they both end in a 5 or a 0, so they're both divisible by 5. 5 can go into 42 8 times. That's a 40. I have a 2 left over, and 5 can go into 25 5 times. 5 can go into 10 2 times, and that's 200. They're both divisible by 5 again. I'm going to divide again. 5 can go into 8 one time. And then that leaves a 3, and that's 17. And 5 can go into 240 times. So if I ever wanted to know the greatest common factor of these two, it's 5 times 5, which is 25. But my simplified fraction is 17/40. Good job. Keep studying. Be ready for your test.